In summary, we managed to set up our environment for OpenGL 3.2 and SDL 1.3 development. We then created an application that could simply render a red quadrilateral to the screen. We learnt about vertex array objects and shaders, which are now compulsory in OpenGL 3.2, because there's no longer any fixed function pipeline stuff. In further tutorials I could go over how to do perspective transformations, etc. like that, if people are keen. But now it's time to move into Windows. How we can see how we can get the same code to run in Windows. We'll be using Visual Studio 2008 to do the Windows stuff. So we can now create a new project, console application, we give it a name. We choose an empty project because we have the source code already. So we look at that source code and we move it into this new project directory and then drag it into the project in Visual Studio. Yeah, there it is. If we try and run it, we'll see we got a lot of errors, missing SDL things. We could re-download the archive containing the SDL 1.3 source, but we already have it. So if we go into the Visual C directory, we can open the project file. If we build this project, we should be able to get out the libraries that we need. And so if we go into the release directory for the SDL project, we can find the sdl.lib. Now all we need to do is copy that into Visual Studio's library directory. So we can see it there in the program files, and lib, paste it in there. Now we do the same for the SDL main output. So we go into SDL main, release, and we get the SDL main lib. And we paste that also into Visual Studio's library directory. Okay, now we copy all the header files, and we go into Visual Studio's include directory, create a new directory for SDL, and paste all the header files. Now Visual Studio can find all that stuff that it needs. The final thing we need is the DLL, and that we can either put into the Windows directory or some System32 or something that will load on runtime, or we can put it into this directory of our project, which is the first place it will look. That allows us to bind with SDL at runtime. Now in Linux we could rely on SDL to handle our extensions, but in Windows we actually have to use something else. I'm going to use GLEW, the extension wrangler. It's supposed to be working for OpenGL 3, but I have a few problems with it. I can't get it to bind dynamically. Oh, it binds dynamically, yes, so I have to actually compile the source code. And there seem to be problems in the source code itself. So I'll go through how I've gotten around that. A lovely internet connection, nice and fast, not. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we open up the archive, contains the GLEW source. We take the C file and we paste it simply into our tut directory. Now for the header files, it's good to put them with the other GL header files. In my case, they get put into the program files, Microsoft SDKs, etc. You can see the path up there, GL directory. So if we can just paste them there, it should be fine. If you have your OpenGL header files in the Visual Studio includes directory, then you're welcome to put them there as well, as long as the compiler can find them. Okay, now what we do is we're going to do some Windows specific stuff and exclude the Linux stuff. So we're going to use a preprocessor directive to check if we're running in Windows or not, compiling in Windows. The GLEW static define will tell the GLEW header file that we're going to be linking statically against the source file. And now we're going to just specify the libraries which we're going to link against. So OpenGL 32 is just for the basic OpenGL stuff. SDL will do SDL. SDL main will let us run the SDL program, I'm not really sure. And GLEW is going to handle all the extra OpenGL functionality that the driver supports for us, or provides for us. Now I'll show you where the problem is. Over here, they say that you can get the extensions using this getString, GL extensions, but that's actually deprecated from 3.2 onwards. It's no longer available. So we need to override that for version 3.2 and above. The old method involved a long string with space-separated extension names. The new way, you actually have to index the extensions from a list. So we have to go manually through all the extensions and check if the parameter extension is in this list. And if it is, we can return true. If we build, it builds, but it does not run. And that reason is because we have not initialized GLEW yet. So we're going to change our init OpenGL function to actually return a boolean of whether it succeeded or failed. And here we are going to initialize GLEW. It returns an error code as well, which we can use for our output. So this will, at runtime, load all the extensions and bind them so that we can use all the cool OpenGL stuff. Obviously this is only for Windows, so we put the preprocessor ifdefs around it. And now we run again. Blah. Fail. Okay. Okay, so let's run this in debug mode and see what's wrong. Okay, break. Okay, we see, okay, GL getString should be GL getString I. That's the only problem. And we have our red quad. Cool, so we've got it working in Linux and Windows now. Before anyone complains about me not releasing memory and stuff, I did realize that we didn't release the VBO and VAO. So in our release function we should have had a delete buffers and delete vertex array call, but I forgot and I don't feel like recording another video. If you were wondering why we only have 2 components for each vertex, it's because we're only working in 2D. This was basically just a crash course. It wasn't supposed to be an amazing program. It's just to show you how to use the new OpenGL 3 stuff. And I know that it looks like a lot of stuff to do with all the shaders and the VAOs, but once you've got the generic stuff down, you never have to code it again. You can just reuse that code. Like you can create an API for loading your shaders, and you never have to recode that again. So it's quite cool. I actually like the new version of OpenGL. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful, and if you did, please let me know and I'll make another video. Thanks for watching.